Okay, so today what I wanted to do was put my new Tone King Imperial Preamp Pedal through its paces in terms of being a pedal platform. And obviously the Tone King Imperial amp is known to be a good amp to take pedals, and I expect the preamp pedal to do just as well. But what I wanted to do is maybe go one level deeper and try out a few different gain types, try the different channels to see how they react differently to pedals, and then tweak a few of the settings, like maybe the high filter compensation, and see how that affects it. So if we look at what I have here on the floor, as you can see, we've got the Tone King Imperial preamp pedal. We've got both channels, right? We've got the rhythm, we've got the lead. And then I've got three drive pedals here. I've got a JRocket HRM, which is kind of a mid-gain dumble kind of pedal. I got a Nobels mini pedal, so this is a lower gain option. And then I've got a Pantheon overdrive from Wampler that I've got set into its highest gain setting. So we're going to use that as kind of our high gain overdrive. And so we're going to test each of these pedals with both channels and just kind of hear how it sounds. So I do want to start out by saying there's obviously a million different combinations that we could do between the drive pedals and the Tone King amp. Obviously the drive pedals have their own EQ and all their own settings. And obviously the Tone King, each channel has its own EQ and gain settings. Plus you can run whatever IRs you want. You can, use some of the controls in the app, like, the high frequency compensation and stuff like that. We'll test some of these out, but we won't be able to go through all the different combinations we could do. I'm just going to focus in on, some good tones from the preamp pedal and then see how those take drive pedals. And as always, if you could hit the like and maybe even leave a comment, those kind of things really help small channels like mine. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. And if you want to help out the channel, there's a Sweetwater affiliate link in the description if you're looking to buy the Tone King Preamp Pedal. So let's go ahead and start out with hearing how the pedal sounds on its own. So right now, I've got the rhythm channel on. You can see I got the gain a little above 5, and I've got the EQ set pretty treble heavy because the rhythm channel tends to be kind of bass heavy. And so you can hear what it sounds like. I mean, it's a pretty clean tone. If I dig in with a bridge pickup, you might start to get a little bit of breakup. So I think this is a good kind of place to keep this in terms of testing out the drive pedals. For the lead channel, you can see I've got the mid bite down and the tone up a little bit. I've got the gain at about halfway, or the volume, and then the attenuator is about halfway. I do have the high frequency compensation off right now. Typically I would have it on. My experience is that when you turn the attenuator down to this level, you do want to add a little more high end to it, but we're going to leave it off for now just to hear how it sounds with the pedals, and then later we'll turn it back on. So here's what that sounds like. So you can hear there's more gain here, but it's not super heavy. So I think these are both kind of good settings for taking some drive pedals. So let's go back to the rhythm channel, and we're going to start with the HRM. Like I said, it's kind of a mid-gainish dumble overdrive kind of thing. And I don't know how well you can see the settings. Right now I have the gain at about 5. I've got the level set about unity, so it's basically the same volume on or off. I've got the top bend boosted a little bit, and the mid-range is down just a little bit. So we turn it on, and into the rhythm channel, we got this. Again, without. So, it sounds pretty good. If I go to the bridge. So let's try hearing what that sounds like, but with the lead channel. Again, here's the lead channel on its own. If I add in the HRM. So it does really nice, kind of that dumble, kind of filling in some of that mid-range, pushing that lead channel, it sounds pretty good. If we go back to the rhythm channel, I want to check out if we tweak the HRM. I'm going to bring the gain down. I'm going to push the level and maybe add a little treble there. And let's hear how it sounds kind of more in a boost mode. So less drive from the pedal and more just trying to push the front of the amp, in this case the preamp. So that. So one thing you can hear, especially on this rhythm channel, when you push it, you get a good amount of low end. It starts to flub out a little bit. It's not too bad, but it's pushing, you know, when you push the gain on the rhythm channel, and I saw this when I used the rhythm dial, it starts to get more and more bass heavy, and you would like have to pull it back more. So that's one thing to consider. You know, on the rhythm channel, when you're using a drive pedal and you're trying to push the volume too, it could really push more bass maybe than you want. If we switch to the rhythm channel, again, here's, and let's boost it. So that works, I think, a little better. You know, the lead channel doesn't have that kind of boomy bass when you push it as much. So that's one difference I noticed between the two different channels in terms of taking drive pedals. Let's go ahead and move on, and we're going to use the Nobel. This is a Mini OD1, and this is the Mini 2. So if you can see here, it's got the bass cut dial, which is really handy, especially on the rhythm channel. So right now, I've got everything at about 12 o'clock. I'm pushing the level a little bit, drives a little bit less than 12 o'clock. I've got the spectrum set perfectly at 12, and then the bass cut is as well. But let's go ahead and pull the bass cut back a little bit and turn that on. Again, there's without any drive. We turn on the OD1. You can hear that. Again, we're pushing the volume a little bit, and the low end's getting a little loose. Which is why I really like with this OD1, when you have this bass cut. We push the level even more. So I really like, you know, a drive pedal into this preamp pedal that has that bass cut capability. So like this OD1 does, or like a Rev Tilt or something like that, that has that kind of, it'll cut out some of that low end. It really works well. So I think other pedals that maybe cut some of that low end, like a tube screamer kind of thing, I think would work well here as well. Let's go ahead and we'll turn on the lead channel. So again, the bass cut works well into this one too. And if we change this to, let's turn the drive way down, and then we're really going to boost it. Maybe even turn the bass cut up. Let's try the rhythm. You can hear that's getting a lot louder because, there's more headroom on the rhythm channel than there is on the lead channel. So keep that in mind as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the higher gain tone. Again, here's our clean tone, and here's with the Pantheon. And let's even give it a little more gain. You can see here I've got the volume a little more than half, the gain's at about half. I've got the presence all the way off, and I'm cutting a little bass. We go to the lead channel. Push the gain a little bit. We get some nice harmonics out of it. I think it sounds pretty good. Here you get a much more aggressive bite from the lead channel, and that's even with the mid bite down quite a bit. I push the mid bite up. You get, even without it, when you push the mid bite up, the pedal starts to get a little martially on the top end. So it does really well with it. And and then with the rhythm channel, you get that kind of rounder, more of a Fender-y kind of thing. Which is nice too. It's maybe not as aggressive, but it makes it kind of warmer. So I think overall, you can kind of hear there is a different characteristic to each channel, and when you start pushing it with a drive, that different characteristics, those things start to become more pronounced. So, when you're kind of in lower gain tones, they sound pretty similar. Maybe the lead has a little more bite to it, obviously has more gain, but when you start pushing it, obviously the lead channel will start to compress more, and especially if you kind of pull that mid bite up, it'll start to bite a lot more, whereas the rhythm channel will stay kind of warmer and rounder, and it has a little more headroom, so you might get more volume when you're pushing it with the drive. But one last thing I want to do is, like I said, when I'm on the lead channel, go ahead and turn the pedal off. A lot of times what I like to do is turn on the high frequency compensation, because the lead channel is louder than the rhythm channel, and a lot of times I've got the attenuation on, and that can cut out some of the high end. So let's go ahead and I'm going to turn on that high frequency compensation. If you're not familiar with this, this is one of the settings that you have to use the app to control. You can't control it from the device itself. So without the high frequency compensation on, when I turn it on, so you get more top end there, and I like it. I like leaving that on. And I think it's even better if you're using humbuckers, because it gives you a little more kind of top end boost. These are pretty warm single coils in this PRS SE, but it also, to me, it sounds a little more stratty with more of that top end. But when we turn on the drive, again, you start to get much more top end, because the drive is like accentuating that setting. off. So, by itself, I like the drive into the lead channel without the high frequency compensator on, because it smooths it out a little bit. When you turn it on, it starts to get a little more harsh to my ear, but it's still a cool sound. So maybe if I did that, I might pull back the tone on the channel. So that's something to keep in mind. There are settings within the app, so you can tweak things within the app that are really going to affect how the pedal sounds into the preamp. And obviously, also the IRs, we didn't even get into changing IRs. If you start switching around different IRs, those are going to affect it greatly as well. So I think my general feeling is, first off, the preamp takes pedals really well. And the two channels are different enough that you can get a good range of tone flavors, so to speak, from the same pedals. So you can have one into the rhythm channel, maybe it's a little more rounder and warmer, and then you kick it onto the lead channel and you'll get more bite out of it. The other thing to watch out is, when you're using a drive pedal to push volume, kind of to push the front end of the preamp a little bit more, especially on the rhythm channel, you might get more bass out of that. So you need to be cautious of that. Having a drive pedal with that bass cut really helps. So like I said, this Nobel OD1 works really well. A Tube Screamer would probably work really well because they're going to affect the EQ curve and kind of take out some of those low frequencies. So overall, though, I'm really happy with how this preamp takes these drive pedals. I think, again, it's mimicking the amp because it's the exact same preamp design. So it's handling that really well. And I think the power amp simulation, the IR, is also well done. So it's kind of keeping it warm. So if you're thinking about looking at this preamp as kind of a pedal platform, and you're going to run a bunch of drives into it, I think it'll work really well in that. I think you get a lot of different flavors out of the same drive pedals with the different channels and different settings. So I don't think you'll be disappointed if you want to use this as a pedal platform. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting, and as always, thanks for watching.